This is English shorthand dictation number 100 and the dictation speed is 140 words per minute. Ready? Start. Sir, I would like to oppose both of these bills in one speech. I will make one general observation and 4 quick points to save time because of the late hour. Sir, first, this government has this habit of repeatedly relying on the ordinance route to bypass the scrutiny of Parliament. In 2017, such repromulgation of ordinances was upheld by the Honorable Supreme Court as a fraud on the Constitution, which is fundamentally at odds with the principle of parliamentary supremacy. Sir, we are meeting here in late hour to assert that Parliament should be heard on this kind of subject, and I must say it is necessary that the requirement spelt out under Article 123 of the Constitution must be met before resorting to the extraordinary step of promulgating an ordinance. But before I get into the subject, I would like to direct the attention of the Honorable Minister towards the National Commission for Homeopathy Bill passed by the Parliament this week. Section 57 of the bill calls for the Homeopathy Central Council Act 1973 to stand repealed and the Central Council of Homeopathy constituted under Section 3 of the said Act to stand dissolved. This defeats the whole objective of the discussion we are having on this ordinance today, because if the Central Council shall cease to exist in the first place, why are we bringing in a law that extends its tenure? If you look at the statement of objects and reasons of this ordinance, the Central Council is responsible for the regulation of the educational standards of homeopathy. This function of the Central Council shall be encompassed within the functions carried out by Homeopathy Education Board, which is stipulated in the National Commission for Homeopathy Bill. This is apparently something that says that it will determine the standards of education and oversee all aspects relating thereto. The President of Homeopathy Education Board and the heads of various institutes specializing in homeopathy are members of the National Commission for Homeopathy itself. Given all this, we have just passed a law this week. The main question to the Honorable Minister is this: is the Central Council not redundant? I think the Honorable Minister should please give a clarification on this fundamental point. Then I would like to point out that there is repeated extension and supersession of both councils. The Central Government Act in 2018 sought to supersede the Central Council and appoint a Board of Governors in its place. In 2018, the ordinance and the bill that replaced it said that the Central Council will be reconstituted within 1 year. A year passed, and in 2019 the government promulgated another ordinance seeking to extend the time period for reconstitution of the Central Council to 2 years. They had been unable to establish the Central Council within a year. Another year passed, and in April this year the government promulgated yet another ordinance, this time extending the time period to 3 years. They still had failed to elect a Central Council for Homeopathy, even though 2 years had now elapsed since the decision was first made. Who knows for how many more years the government plans to keep up this annual charade. This year, it has started the same process with the Indian Medicine Central Council, providing for it to be superseded and reconstituted within 1 year. Should we expect that process also to suffer from the same inordinate delay that the Homeopathy Central Council has done? Then, the initial move to supersede the Central Council in 2018 was meant to bring transparency, accountability, and quality within the homeopathy education system. The government has achieved the opposite by not following any democratic procedures in establishing the Board of Governors and then exercising complete control over it. There are too many instances of the Ministry of Ayush taking up the role of regulator in lieu of the Council, which is an overreach by the Ministry into roles that should be delegated to autonomous bodies. The directions of the central government to the board stand final with regard to policy direction. That means that the government is giving itself the final decision-making power over the reconstituted Central Council. This is further evidence of over-centralization in this government, taking away the autonomy of the regulatory bodies. Similarly, there is no specific criteria or adequate representation of the Board of Governors. But in the interest of time, I would try and wrap up with the final concern which I know the Honorable Minister is aware of and which I had also mentioned in an earlier debate. That is the potential legitimization of quackery. The Ministry of Ayush is in charge of permitting persons and colleges to offer homeopathic courses and to expand such courses. It has also been promoting Clause 49 of the National Medical Commission Bill 2017, which focuses on bridge courses that allow homeopathic professionals to prescribe allopathic treatments in rural areas. The bill to constitute the National Commission provides for an interface between the Indian system of medicine, homeopathy, yoga and naturopathy and modern systems of medicine. This essentially means that the Indian Medical Association is concerned that giving such Ayush doctors the ability to prescribe allopathic medicines and perform allopathic procedures will officially amount to legitimization of quackery and lower the standards of rural health. Allopathic treatment cannot be delivered by homeopathic practitioners who have taken a shortcut instead of taking an MBBS, and this could absolutely reduce the efficacy of medicine. I would like the Honorable Minister to kindly address this concern. The regulatory mechanism is unclear. Thanks to the setting up of national commissions for both these areas, I would urge the government to put an end to this process of extensions and supersessions once and for all. I would also request the government to either subsume the function of the central councils within the respective national commissions or establish a single body for each of these fields with adequate representation from the states and from all relevant institutions. This alone will ensure greater transparency, better accountability, and a higher quality of practice and education in these fields of medicine in the country. Honorable Speaker, Sir, I rise to oppose these two bills, the Indian Medicine Central Council Amendment Bill 2020 and the Homeopathy Central Council Amendment Bill 2020. My objections regarding the first bill is that it is a direct assault on the state's right. This bill is one in the line of many other acts that this government has introduced to appropriate more power to itself. Sir, the Central Council for Indian Medicine, which this bill seeks to dissolve, was a democratic body constituted by the Indian Parliament where the states were represented through elected members and were able to iron out problems associated with the ISM system. However, now owing to Clause 3A, members will be nominated by the central government and this democratic system will come to an end. Even the standing committee had recognized the specific healthcare issues and challenges of every state. How can this bill address these specific state issues when the council is being replaced by bureaucrats? As has been said by the previous speaker, I must reiterate that we must give importance to the fact that health is a state subject and medical education is a subject in the concurrent list. You have to give equal responsibility to the states in this arena. Here I have to make some suggestions. At present, there are more than 200 Ayurveda colleges. There is a Central Council for Research in Ayurveda and similar councils for Unani, homeopathy, yoga and naturopathy. These could have been clubbed together to make it an institute of national importance. I am now coming to the Homeopathy Central Council Amendment Bill. Tamil Nadu is a pioneering state in homeopathy system of medicine. In Tamil Nadu, there are 20,000 doctors registered in the council after passing the degree or diploma from recognized homeopathy medical colleges in India and having a thoroughly successful practice. Though India is becoming the global hub for homeopathic education and training, what we see today is a progressive deterioration of quality due to myopic implementation of educational standards. Sir, I find one of the biggest lacuna in this bill. When the Ayush system is in such a grave situation, it is surprising how the National Medical Commission bill would allow practitioners of alternative medicines like homeopathy and Ayurveda to practice modern medicine after attending a short-term bridge course.